Before we kick off with today's show, I want to talk to you about one of the most abused phrases in the crypto space, and that is do your own research. Since crypto is a tricky space and we still have a lot to learn about it, this week we're going to tell you what you need to know in order to actually plan your investment. So let's get on with the show. Welcome back to Crypto Unfiltered, our weekly series covering everything you need to know about cryptocurrency. Since crypto is a new space for both you and me, I'm here to learn as much as I can about it, and hopefully you're also finding this series helpful. So let's dive into this week's topic. Just how do you make sense of cryptocurrency as an investment? अब मैं आपको ये नहीं बता सकता कि आपको क्रिप्टो में किस तरह इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, लेकिन क्रिप्टो को समझते हुए मुझे जितना टाइम हुआ है, एक चीज जो मुझे हर बार खटकती है वो ये है कि हर कोई मुझसे कहता है कि क्रिप्टो के ऊपर रिसर्च करो, लेकिन रिसर्च करने का जो तरीका है उसके बारे में कोई नहीं बताता, एंड दैट इज रियली फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग. So here I am with a few different pointers, and these are just beginners primer, but hopefully we can make sense together about cryptocurrency. The first thing I will say then is that cryptocurrency in general is a very volatile asset, and although the idea behind Bitcoin focused heavily on the currency, part of that term, we're not nearly there yet, and so you really have to think of this as an investment only. And in that case, the first thing to remember is diversification. Don't put your entire savings into a single token just because you read a tweet that it's rising. Spread your money, hedge your bets, and be a smart investor. चलिए अब आपको बताते हैं कि इन सब का मतलब क्या है. Last week, I walked you through a lot of the jargon that you're going to hear from crypto veterans, and if you missed that episode, you can always visit our channel and check that out. Let's now talk about a few more things you need to know to make a good investment. Crypto is still a market that gets buoyed or sinks because of the hype. If you're looking for short-term gains, you're a braver investor than me. But in the long term, there are a few things you should keep in mind when you are doing your research. So we caught up with Rohas Nagpal, who is the chief blockchain architect at Wrapped Assets Project, to find out more about how he invests and what research he does when planning where to put his money. Some of the key questions we need answers to are: as an investor, does the use case of crypto matter? Some were designed for IoT, some for decentralized apps, but does it impact my investment?
The use case of a crypto is one of the most essential factors that you need to consider, because if the use case doesn't make sense, the crypto is going to fail. There are two primary use cases for cryptos. One is as a medium of exchange, which means people will use it to buy and sell services. And a classic example could be Bitcoin or the stable coins. And the second is utility coin, where the crypto is used as the fuel for a particular platform. Classic example could be Ethereum or ETH.
Is there an advantage of buying a cryptocurrency that is inexpensive as opposed to one that is expensive?
Please never look at the fact that a crypto seems cheap or expensive because of the number of zeros in its value. What you have to understand is, just because a crypto is $0.001 does not mean it's a better investment, because after all it can become 0.002, and because Bitcoin is like $30,000-$40,000, it will not grow as much. Never look at that. Always understand whether the crypto has a good use case and the other factors are strong. The number of zeros or the number of decimals actually is just to fool you.
Now that you have a better idea about doing your own research, let's help with a quick recap of some of the big developments in the crypto market over the last week. In the last week or so, we've seen Cardano shoot up in value and demand for cryptocurrency in India remains high. Interestingly, it's not just big coins like Bitcoin and Ether either. And we're also seeing the pendulum swing as Iran backs off from its May 2021 ban on crypto mining. So another question that we have for Rohas is, what are the big developments in the world of crypto that our viewers should be aware of?
How is the adoption of Bitcoin going to happen in El Salvador, which is the world's first country to make Bitcoin as legal tender? Already the people have started protesting on the roads against Bitcoin being made legal tender because they are very worried that it is too volatile for them to use on a day-to-day basis. So let's wait and watch what actually happens to this adoption. If it goes well, it's going to be awesome. But if it fails, that's going to be really bad news for the entire crypto sector.
Speaking of China, here's a look at a really interesting visual that shows that China was backing away from Bitcoin and even the government cracked down earlier this year. It's been made by researchers at the Cambridge University and it tracks data from September 2019 to April 2021. Here's a clip from the site which I'll link in the description. As you can see on the map, at the start of September, China accounted for a whopping 75% of global Bitcoin mining. You can see as the months pass that mining in other parts of the world, including Africa, start to pick up, but China's share is steadily dropping, and by April this year, it was down to just 46%. Did the miners know a crackdown was coming, or was the economic incentive for mining Bitcoin not really worth anymore? That's something we're going to explore in more depth next week. ये तो बात हो गई कुछ क्रिप्टो न्यूज की, लेकिन अब बारी है बात करने की क्रिप्टो मार्केट के बारे में। थोड़े नंबर्स के बारे में बात करते हैं हमारे इस सेगमेंट में। At the time of filming, among the top tokens, Bitcoin has dropped by 2.3%, Ethereum is down by 0.72%, while Tether is down by 1.22% in the last 24 hours. Cardano also isn't doing that well and is down by 2.20%. That looks pretty good, although a little scary for people who are invested. But remember, rather than looking at short-term fluctuations, you should focus on the bigger market trends. See what the big investors are doing and use that to ground your understanding anytime you actually spend money. Don't just listen to advice and follow it blindly. And on that note, that's it for this week's Crypto Unfiltered. If you have any questions, do send them across to us on our Twitter and Facebook pages. This is Cyrus John signing off with a promise that I'll be back with more crypto next week. See you soon.